Hey, loves, come on in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Go ahead and get comfortable. Take a seat, if you will. And welcome into today's talk. Diddy, Kels, Tyler Perry. We will cover Tyler Perry responding. R. Kelly had an incident where he's not okay. So there's an update on that. And Brendan Paul appears to be saved again on day 26 of the Diddy trial. Okay. And we have a Diddy trial update. So it is important. Are we talking mistrial? Are we talking what's exactly going on? More losing more jurors? All this is going on. That makes a lot happening once again, and the never boring, never fails to entertain, high profile trial of the century, trial of the culture for sure. And there is never a boring moment. But did we expect anything different from bad boy Sean P. Diddy Combs? Like, there is never a boring day. Like, if you are going to take anyone and bring them to trial and try to charge them with anything and try to get away with, presenting your arguments and bringing a whole case against and having the grand jury and the government and everybody all involved and the media from all over the globe involved, then yes, you must. Yes, you definitely must. Um, Bring Sean P. Diddy Combs if you want that kind of attention. So, for anybody else that decides, oh, okay, I'm going to bring up some charges, such as the person that's trying to do a claim against the one and only Tyler Perry, and that is clapping back on that individual very quickly. A little bit of unexpectedly clapping back on that individual. We will talk about that. I probably will not give that person any, how we say, when that person is coming and they're up to no good. So we really are not going to give that person's name a lot of attention. Yeah, that's where we stand on this new update with Tyler Perry. So come on in, welcome in, welcome in. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Mods, if you're in the room, let me know if you're in the room, mod, and say hello if so, or yes, I'm in the room, or anything like that. I did forget to do something, so let me say, okay, is so that I can find out for myself. Okay. And also my phone is needs to be on silent. Got it. Got it. Just got some travel details. So I'm all ready to go for the next trip. So I had to tap in there and see that and be about that business. All right. So let us start with Tyler Perry. Who wants me to start with Tyler Perry? There's a little bit of unpacking going on with that. I said that we would talk about, Tyler Perry and just kind of get just a little bit of back because a lot of people are asking me what's going on. Thank you, Britt Rebroy and Mods in the Honey's in the building. Thank you so much. If you will keep an eye on that chat, you guys follow what the mod tells you in the chat. I'm on a different platform. I may not be able to pin your comments, but if I do, if I'm able to pin your comment and mod pins your comment, make sure that you get a chance to have your comment pinned by being respectful. Thank you for your daily heart meets. Thank you for viewing. I appreciate you sharing, viewing, and all taps on the screen, anything that you do to engage with the content, any engagement with the content on TikTok. I appreciate it. I love TikTok for the way that they help you to do that. Finding me on the algorithm. If you're here for the first time, say first time in the chat. If you will, if you're here for the first time, say first time in the chat. Okay. So listen. Tyler Perry said, unbothered. Yeah, I see you, and I see what you're trying to do, and then the person just underestimated the culture. I know that you guys are just a little bit shocked, like, wait a minute. I thought that they were just going to go at this thing but about Tyler Perry, and they were just going to put down their own culture the way they did with the Sean P. Diddy Combs, the way that they did with R. Kelly. Listen, you want some backstory on why we're not coming? Just going to put down their own culture the way they did with the Sean P. Diddy Combs, the way that they did with R. Kelly. Listen, you want some backstory on why we're not coming for Tyler Perry, okay? Let me know if it disconnected and let me know if you still have sound. So here's the reason I don't have to I do not have to explain to you why we are not coming for Tyler Perry. He's Tyler Perry. He is Tyler Perry. Welcome in. Thank you so much. Everyone who's tuned in, tapped in. If you will, let me know if you can still hear me in the chat, okay? This particular platform. Um, I tell you, sometimes thank you for that tapping for the screen. Is a tap on the screen saying that you guys can hear me? If your tap is saying that you can hear me, great. If you could type that you can hear me, that would be even better. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. Says that you can hear me. So listen, some of the things that you're trying to talk about, Sean P. Diddy comes what? Having a bunch of girlfriends? We already knew that. Getting a little bit upset, and having a need to go to anger management, overworked, overwhelmed, something like that. We already knew that. A lot of things that you're bringing up in the trial, we already knew that about Puffy. Okay, we've been following Puffy since the '80s. We knew a lot of things about Puffy. We just didn't know that he had this horrible stuff going on. But when you talk about the personality of a hardworking music mogul individual that he's been to change and revamp music as a whole, let alone the culture. Yeah, we know these things about Sean P. Diddy Combs. We know he has a lot of money. We know he has a lot of enemies. It's a matter of time before a revenge ex comes and tries to take him down. So this is not really shocking to us, Cassie, that you tried to take down the man. We pretty much saw this coming. This happens. How many times can a woman's heart get broken before you go into the John Tucker must unalive mode, right? So we already knew that this was going to happen. But baby, what you're not going to do is come for Medea. What you're not going to do is come for Tyler Perry. What you're not going to do is try to act like you think, oh, I outed Tyler Perry. No, boo, you didn't out Tyler Perry because we know Tyler Perry's story. We've been following Tyler Perry since Tyler Perry was doing plays. We've been following Tyler Perry since only 25 of us was in the stadium watching the play on the stage. We have known Tyler Perry from the beginning. We know his story, okay? And then we watched the Oprah interview. You didn't watch it because you don't like Oprah, but we watched the Oprah interview. So since we watched the Tyler Perry Oprah interview, nothing's a shock to us. Paparazzi's trying to follow him around. Look, Tyler Perry has a boyfriend. Did you guys know the guy that has a son has a boyfriend? Uh-huh. But we know because he outed himself a long time ago. Did you watch the Oprah interview? So we are not shocked. So you can't bring anything to us, like that. Like it was just immediately all of us stood up almost at once and said, not Tyler Perry, boo. We got a whole Medea movie coming out. We want to see that movie on July 11th, okay? We're still watching Straw. You trying to bounce it over to number 3. It's been number 1 in the UK and in the US on Netflix, okay? So we are not about to have you, Tyler Perry, the one who's creating millionaires out of actors and actresses. No, we are not about to have you come for the likes of Tyler Perry. I know that you think that it is something that you should do, but we are not going to stand by as you attempt to do it. So we stand with Tyler Perry, and we actually I support his response. I think his response was brilliant. So if you can hear the response, let me know. I'm going to try to. He's got the whole world in his hand. I'm bothered.
Hey, I'm just sitting here on my porch, just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help.
I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. And that is pretty much the response from Tyler Perry. I am looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. I have nothing else to say about this person who didn't like that we didn't have a vibe. We didn't have a connection. He was not the lover of the year. So what? So what? Get over it. And then you thought, oh, if I attach myself to Tyler Perry, if I get myself all super close to Tyler Perry, then I guess then something really, really great will happen. Well, guess what? That's not what happened. Mm-mm. That's not what happened for you. And Tyler Perry's attorneys have responded and said, look, we actually think that it is simply a scam, a money grab. We see this, kind of thing happen with Jay-Z. There was someone that attempted to do the very exact same thing. And they saw it really quickly. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm looking for something. And they saw it really quickly and they're like, we don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's exactly what they decided to say. Okay. And that's pretty much how this is going for the individual. So I'm sorry. Give me just a moment. I know you can still hear me, but I need to do something real quick. But listen, I can't have you be a part of that. Okay, so I'm sorry that didn't go the way that the person thought that it was going to go. So, what are your thoughts on Tyler Perry? I want to know. What are your thoughts on the individual that is trying to take down the very likes of Tyler Perry? What do you think? Well, where them fans at? Because it's hot in here. Sorry. Sorry about that, you guys. You know how I am. I am going to want my fan. It is not a shocker to anyone that tunes into my live. They already know she going to get that fan, ain't she? She going to get that fan. So, yeah, so we basically just decided boots on the ground for Tyler Perry. Where them fans at? Okay, that's how we felt about Tyler Perry. So I have nothing. No, we're not going to cover for the next 8 weeks. We are not going to be talking about Tyler Perry. We are not going to be tearing Tyler Perry down. If you see someone doing that, they're miserable with themselves. That's how we feel about the Tyler Perry. That's my response. So many people ask me, Dee, have you heard about Tyler Perry? What's your response about Tyler Perry? That's it. That's where I have, that's my emotion. That's my feeling. That's what I have about Tyler Perry, and I have nothing else. All right. So listen, let's also talk about R. Kelly. Okay. Liz, I know R. Kelly's been found guilty. I know everything that came out in the trial. I know we have a lot of mixed emotions, but R. Kelly is still an individual that brought music to the culture. R. Kelly is still the very same person that Michael Jackson gave accolades to. Have you read the R. Kelly book? Like, Michael Jackson definitely felt Chris Brown, R. Kelly were some of the greats, right? So we have, it's okay to be okay, appreciative of the music of R. Kelly. It's okay to appreciate the art of R. Kelly. It's okay to appreciate the talent that R. Kelly worked with. It's okay to be thankful for what he's done to music, right? So yeah, you're definitely going to tap in and hear the stories. Why? Because they listened to the stories of the Beatles and the Beach Boys, and they had much more problems. They listened to the stories of Elvis. They had plenty more problems. It's okay. You don't have to down your person. Stop being so quick to go with the oppressor and down everybody just because you see that that's a popular thing. Of course, did you see it took them at least 20 minutes? It took them 20 minutes to grab the Tyler Perry story and put it on every moving network in every country that covers that kind of a story. It was on everything within 20 minutes on every platform because they love when it is, let me we're just gonna move on past that thought. All right, so let's just move on past that. So R. Kelly had an incident. First of all, a week ago, his attorney came and said, "Look, something's going on. I don't like what's happening with my client." He's saying that someone came up to him and tapped him and said, "Look, I was told you, okay, and because I was told you, I just wanted you to know, and it's a lot of money on the table." And then he said, the person blamed the Fed, whoever. He said that they're after you. And so R. Kelly, he's like pretty aware of this, that someone's trying to get him. So he tells his attorney about a week ago, everyone's so caught up with the Diddy trial. His attorney announces it, does a presser and said, "Look, they're trying to come for my client. We need to free my client because they are trying to take him out." I don't know who they is. Anyone in the chat know who's they? Because I'm trying to figure out who's they, right? So they said, well, this is what they're trying to do. And then here we go. A couple of days later, the man all the way, in his cell. So they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" So they ran and they got to him, got him over, took him to a hospital that was not on site, took him to a hospital off site to get some medical care because they're like, "Oh no, is this the moment that they take him?" You know how they're waiting outside the hospital like they did for Michael Jackson? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Because God said, "Not this time." No, it's not his time. So R. Kelly was in there, but he does have a swollen right leg. He does have a swollen left leg, according to the reports. So the hospital then goes, "Well, he is property of, that particular location." So they call back to the prison to say, "Hey, he's got these medical things going on, and it's very serious. We think that we need to take a deeper look at him." Maybe they thought that they needed surgery. I don't know. It's HIPAA. We don't know his medical business, right? So they're like, "Something's going on." But they said, "Bring him back. Bring him back." So they said, "No, don't do anything else. If he's good and he's come back too, bring him back." So they escort him back to the jail, prison, we should say, and they escort him back. And guess what? Instead of putting the man up in some kind of comfort, I'm not saying there's a lot of comfort, but R. Kelly up in there making albums. R. Kelly is still in there writing for other artists. Do you know how many artists are in there getting songs written by and produced by R. Kelly while he's been locked up? So he's in there working and stuff. Well, they didn't put him in there where he could get to his work. Instead, they took him to, allegedly, he's in confinement. So R. Kelly is currently in solitary confinement. So That is, thank you for the taps. 1.3 thousand. Appreciate that. 760 people have stopped by. 51 people still tuned in. I think that you guys rock. If you will tap and connect with and follow, I will engage on your content. If you will connect and follow, and I will also engage on your content when I am no longer on the platform after not live, right? All right. So moving on past Kels. I'm going to talk about Brendan Paul. I'm going to talk about trust fund babies in a minute. You know how I feel about them trust fund babies. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the trust fund baby in a minute. But listen, before we get to the trust fund baby, here's what we're going to do. I wanted to tell you, for those of you who do tune in from other countries, I kind of have like a little update. You need to follow along. I can only say it one way. I wish I could say it all the way, but I can't say it all the way unless you were out having coffee with me. So since you're not out having coffee with me and we're on this platform, I can only say it this way, and I just hope you catch it. I just hope you catch it, because if you don't catch it and you miss it, it's not I can do for you. Okay, so the Preezy from the United States has been having a week. The Preezy from the United States ended up leaving the G several digits summit and leaving and going back early to the White Hazy. Okay, so since he was in the White Hazy, he also prior to had been making some decisions about some things that he wants to do. The thing that stood out to me is that the Preezy from the United States and his administration are considering additional travel B to the A and the N. And they're doing that in addition to the already 12 C regions that they've already said, restrictions are on, right? Limitations, restrictions are on, right? And he's going to add 36 more foreign land areas, predominantly from the A region, 36 more. I saw the names. Anybody want me to go over the names? If you don't know the names of the ones that he is B to the A and to the N in, I will tell you. I could go on my notes to show you. If you don't need that, I'm fine. But let me know if you need those names. I have the ones that are just don't notice. I have the ones that are a complete if he says it. I have all that. So if you need it, let me know and I will hook you up. Okay. Now, in hip hop news, let's go to this, you guys. And then we're going to get to the Diddy trial and the trust fund baby that was saved for today. Trust fund baby is saved once again. If it's not immunity covering him, if it's not an early bonding out immediately after being picked up, then there's we're not having court today, kind of thing going on, right? So in hip hop news, though, let's talk about this. Tyrene Turner, is that how you say his name? You remember Kane from Men Is to Society movie, right? He was seen on the Art of Dialogue telling the truth about Suge Knight. Okay, so he says that he talked about Suge. He says that he's having money problems. He says Suge Knight is having money problems. This is Turner talking. He also said that he lost D-Row in a bankruptcy. We kind of know that T, right? He said that Suge has been borrowing money. And you see Suge all over the place taking interviews and all that kind of thing because he is in need of collecting some coins. Okay. Tyree says this. He says, I think that Suge is a big old, I am quoting Tyrone Turner, okay? He says, I think Suge is a big old light skinned guy that doesn't know how to come out the closet. Well, that's what he said about Tyrone Turner, that. So Suge Turner also claims, Suge Turner says has incarceration mentality. And that he says because of Suge's incarceration mentality, that he says Suge Knight likes to be up on men in a way, in a way. He feel a type of way about men. Okay, that's what he had to say. But I think he's feeling really bad because Suge said all that mean stuff about him. Suge said that he was sweaty and he was stinky and all this other stuff, right? So and he said he was broke. Yeah, he said Turner was broke. So Turner clapped back, wart and heavy on the Art of Dialogue. So you definitely want to go check that out, right? So do you agree, Chad? Do you agree that that's what's up with Suge Knight? Anyone following the whole Suge Knight saga? If you are, do you think that that's, Suge the only one to be talking about. They be putting eggs up in and spreading, and he says all that kind of stuff. So I do wonder what are the interests of Suge Knight. Okay. All right. So I gave you guys the R. Kelly update. Let me know if you need a recap on that. But he's just currently in solitary confinement. according to the prison staff and according to the news, they say he's in solitary confinement, right? Um, well, what else did I? Oh, let's get to the court update. Let's go ahead and get to the Sean P. Diddy Combs court update. It's Juneteenth tomorrow. You guys expect me to work hard? You expect me to work hard? I am in Texas. I am in Texas. We told y'all about Juneteenth, okay? So no, we don't. No, absolutely no. I am not going to overwork unless you guys make me, but I don't plan to overwork work today. If you want to come up, I'm on another platform. You probably can't come up today because who gonna get you up? How am I going to figure out how to bring you I may not be able to do that to you today, okay? All right, so here's a court update for day 26. It's an interesting day, but he's an interesting man. It's bad boy. So it's never going to be a boring day in the trial of Sean P. Diddy Combs, right? So the day 26 was interesting. The day before the, Juneteenth holiday, I already knew the court was going to be out on Juneteenth holiday, right? Well, the day before the holiday, court ended up ending a little early. Okay, so court ended up adjourned around 30 minutes into court. The judge says this. Okay, this is a report coming back from the people in the main courtroom, and something that I wanted to add that I heard one of the reporters say, if you're going to be traveling to New York, I know a lot of people are still trying to get in, their time for the summer, and it's certainly started the summer, so a lot of vacations are headed into New York. If you so bold and so nosy, and you think that you could do it, I don't suggest that you bring your children. Even though some people are, you can go to the courthouse. It's free. You can go. You can sit in, and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You could be a part of the Diddy trial. You can't go in the main courtroom, but there are available overflow rooms. You just need to get in the line early. Everyone's allowed to come in. I hope you know how to go inside of a courthouse, clear bags, and all the things that you can and can't bring in. Really, just you're best not bring in a bag at all. That makes it easier for you when you're trying to access our courtrooms, right? So, go in and do your due diligence and get your report also and go inside. So if you're going to be in New York, I definitely agree that people should try to make their way into the trial of the century. This is going to be talked about, especially in our legal spaces. This will be talked about for a very long time, right? All right. So anyway, the judge says this about the juror. This is why court ended early, and we don't know if court will come back on Friday because of this. A juror got sick. I'm talking about just not feeling okay, not able to sit in court, kind of sick today. Got sick on the way to court. And the explanation from the judge is it was a severe vertigo episode. So you guys know how, you've seen the history of, reports about vertigo, right? So the juror had a severe vertigo episode. Court was out. They're like, okay, we already, we're working with an alternate and another juror that's on the judge's nerves, right? So because of that, court is out, right? So Friday court is also pending based on the vertigo episode that's happening with that juror. So the juror is sick, couldn't come in, not feeling well. So no testimony happened today. They were in there for about 20 to 30 minutes. And also there, with this happening, we're looking at a day, maybe a 24-hour to 48-hour schedule delay on how this, will break down. Now, I did hear the update from the defense, and you guessed in the chat if you want to participate, answer this question for me. How long do you think it's going to take the defense to present? I heard and I was like, wow, like what? Obviously the defense has some tea and it's not going to take them long to spill it, okay? So how many days do you think it's going to take for the defense? Love that flows from the heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think. Um, so, how long do you think that it is going to take for the defense? How long do you guys think? Heather says two. Look, okay, that's shocking to me, right? How long do you think that it is going to take for the defense? You guys, you can answer that in the chat. Heather, welcome back. Thank you so much. You guys, I think I'm doing good. Yep, 24 minutes, and I think I'm doing good. So, again, that could cause a little bit of a schedule delay. This is a Judge Zebramanian. I think I said it right today. Y'all let me know if I said it right today. It's Judge Zebramanian. He is trying to make sure that he gets this done before the 4th of July. But wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Do you want to keep you don't mind going on your 4th of July holiday talking about the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial and the results and the verdict, and all that. And definitely if you wrap it up like a couple of days before the 4th of July, I trust and believe you are going to have a jury that's going to spit it out their throat really quickly as to what they have decided, because they are not going to take up their fourth. They've already given 8 weeks at that point to the trial. So no, they're going to come to a quick. You know how Karen Reed jury was taking a long time in that trial that's going on? But listen, no, this jury is going to be like, I don't know. It quit because none of this drama fit. Okay, I don't know what they're going to say, but this jury is all over the place. They have a lot going on, so they are definitely wanting to be getting. They're going to want to get home, right? They're not going to take a long time, so I think it'll be kind of wrap up before the 4th of July. We'll see. Will there be a delay because of the sick jury though? Summary witness names. I told you guys yesterday the summary witnesses who are basically just tell it like a TI is. That's all that a summary witness is. A summary witness is just going to come and say, "What's that? That's a receipt. What? A receipt? Oh, a receipt. No, a receipt. That's it." They're going to say that's a bank statement. That's a receipt. That's on page 4. That's on page 5. Yes, I did this on this day. He did this on that day. I booked this on that day. Administrative kind of business going to happen, right? Those summary witnesses don't even have KK's name. No Christina Quorum. So we have to pause. We need to take a moment about Christina Quorum. Do you think that Christina Quorum is an informant? Or do you think that Christina Quorum took immunity? Do you think that she has? I did verify Garagos is not Christine KK's attorney. So I don't, or there's no solid evidence anywhere that Garagos is representing Christina Quorum. So who her representation, we have no idea. We know that she's fully available and capable of following the trial just like the rest of the world. So she's been able to keep up with the trial. She's probably covering her steps, and hoping that they are ordered by the Lord, because her name was definitely brought up all through the trial. Okay, so do you guys think that the girl is an informant? Why is she not coming to talk? Right, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say about Brendan that in a minute, right? So, do you think that KK is an informant? Why is it? Why did the prosecution? Her name was brought up. I thought you wanted to go through and get people to corroborate Cassie's story, right? So why would you not bring KK? The girl's name was brought up all the time. Hey, Save, what's going on? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. So, Heather said, you played that game as a kid too. Yes. This is a receipt. A what? A receipt? A what? A receipt? Oh, a receipt. Yes, we did play that game as children in Texas. Okay, so listen, so I don't know, but summary witness names were released. No, no KK. No KK. Okay, so we have no testimony with today. We have no jury that feels all the way well because we have a sick juror with severe vertigo today. That could last. Anyone familiar with vertigo? I think those episodes can last anywhere from 24 maybe to a few days, right? So that could bring the trial not to come back until Monday. It could also push the judge to say mistrial. I found out some tea. If y'all want to find out, you want some tea? I wanted to know who was judge. I don't want to say his name wrong. Bless his soul. He's Asian. Is an Asian judge, right? From India, from maybe from the country. No, he was born here. Let me not even do that. So he's an Asian judge. His name is Judge Zubramanian. He was appointed, a few years back by Joe Biden. The judge was appointed by Joe Biden. Also interned under the best. When I say interned under the best, he interned under the best. He interned under Supreme Court RBG. Isn't that some tea? That's some tea we all needed. I don't know why. It's not going to make a difference. Either transportation, for sure. They are going to get Sean P. Diddy Combs on something, right? But if there is a mistrial, people say, will he be able to go home because of all this, right? So if there's a mistrial, or if there's an say if he's acquitted, they would be able to bring some of that you can't go home stuff down just a little bit, just to let you guys know. They can set the bond as something impossible, but he's shopping and he comes. He's got Kanye in his corner. He has unlimited money right access to get out. So they would be able to set a bond and he would be able to go home for sure in those instances. Mistrial definitely would go home. Acquitted, bond set, go home, because they're still going to try to come at this man about this transportation transportation, and that transportation is landing so solid. Boy, that transportation is landing solid on Sean P. Diddy calls. But hanging there, Diddy, we got you. We got your back. Not really. We can't help you. You're gonna be all you in that all by yourself. Like I'm telling you, Sean P. Diddy calls may actually go down for that transportation, but all hopes, right? Just for the sake of the children having their father, people. We don't support the activity of Sean P. Diddy calls. All right. So you can request. I would love for somebody to request to come up so I can see what it looks like because I'm on a different platform and I have no idea where to tap to even bring someone up. That's a honey thing. That's a honey thing. But we can find honey and get him in the studio. Okay, so okay, there it goes. There it goes. Let's see where you're gonna pop up on the screen.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Man, same. Welcome back up. Welcome to the chat. Welcome panelists.
Yeah.
Same. Up. What are your thoughts?
This is crazy. This is crazy. This
It's
is
the trial
crazy.
of the century. That's why.
My thing is this, and I'm not knocking nobody from
Right,
getting sick, right?
right, right.
But to get sick at the moment you got sick, that's the difference for me.
I mean,
I'm not saying that people can't. I'm
people
not
do
saying
get
that people
sick.
can't get
It's a
sick.
lot of people out there sick right now. The hospitals are full.
Right,
Mm.
but it just kind of hurts when a sickness comes on the day that everybody's waiting to see this testimony.
And it's that part that I was about to get to because it's given trust fund. Do y'all understand? I grew up around trust fund babies. Like trust fund babies get what they want at all times. We have a country being run by a trust fund baby. Like trust fund babies, there is no L. You know how the kids like to say that's an L? No, the trust fund baby is always getting a W. Okay, so this is definitely a win for Brandon today. Another day, another day, another, he gets to see another day. I think that
Right,
Brendan is
because
going to see another day, period, because he's just, I have some
let
I
me
have some
actually
backstory on him. So
let me ask you this question that I've been trying to figure out the answer in my head for the last 2 days that I can't seem to figure out the answer.
okay.
Wh- Why the car switch with why the car switch?
With
Uh yay.
why it was a card switch with Ye? Oh, why did he all
Yeah.
of a sudden?
Why the car switch?
Why did he amend?
No,
why
no,
did
no, no, no.
why did him
No.
and Diddy start getting along again? Is that what you're asking?
Mm-mm.
What?
No. Did you see when he was picked up from where he
Oh,
was
oh,
staying
oh, oh.
to
Okay,
go to the
okay.
courtroom?
I saw when he was dropped off. What picked him up?
Okay.
I
Now
need to
see,
know.
now you're getting into it. Okay.
Okay, now what that's
When
it.
he
I saw him
when
picked up
he
at.
was
I actually saw him picked up at his hotel. I saw him take the ride all the
that,
way to the courthouse. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
okay,
When he was picked up at his hotel,
right,
he was picked up in an all black Cadillac Escalade.
right. Hmm.
The hotel could not have been too far from the courtroom.
No, no, definitely not.
When he was dropped off at the courtroom, he pulled up in a Mercedes Maybach. You didn't you didn't see that?
I mean, but it's yay gonna yay at the end of every day. Like, I mean, he could that could be sponsorship. That could be because of where he was headed next, right? So when Kanye West shows up
Hang
somewhere, this
on.
one
Hang
thing that
on.
he is very consistent with. Kanye is always consistent with where he's going and what he rides in. Sometimes he has that customized what do you call that big old the Cybertruck? Sometimes it's the customized Cybertruck. Like wherever he shows up at, it's I've watched his career over the years. How he rides depends on where he's showing up at. You know, I don't know.
He wasn't driving.
Well, never. I mean, hardly ever.
But
But you get what I'm saying?
and
Like, there's always a purpose. So where was he headed
right, right,
next?
right, right,
Because
right, right,
people
right.
do say that he was not intentionally in town strictly for the Diddy trial. That is not why he came to town. He had business in New York, and it
Right,
just
because him
it
and his
fit.
wife came. Right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So I mean, it just kind of threw me. I'm like, why are you picked up in a Escalade, dropped
Mm,
off in a Maybach,
mm.
picked back up in a Maybach from the courthouse, and then dropped back off in the Escalade at the hotel?
You know why? You know the main reason why, and especially when he goes back home. Are you serial? When Kanye's back in New York, yes, he's going to show out. Like he's going to show out in the New York area, right? He has spent a lot of time in the New York area. So if he's in Chicago, if he's in New York, if he's on the East Coast at any point, he's going to show out. He's going to let you know. I know y'all keep hearing that I don't have it like that no more. I know y'all think Kim broke me. Kim didn't break me. Here's how me and Bianca live, right? I think that it's just Kanye being Kanye. I don't read anything into that. I know people want to read the Rick Ross narrative into that, but I don't. I'm not. I'm not.
No, I mean it's not saying that I'm reading into it anything that has to do with that. I mean I'm just
Yeah.
saying I mean like that was just a bit weird because I've
Yeah,
never
it
seen him
seemed
do that
intentional.
before.
I agree with you. It seemed intentional. Okay, so Heather says, I hope Diddy goes home. She says that what she believes that what he wrote up in and picked up in was irrelevant. She thinks that that would be worrying about the wrong thing. Same. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
if
know.
that's the case, then him. What if that's the case? Then him at being at the courthouse shouldn't be a thing.
I think that it was very relevant to where the defense is going to go because the defense has now announced that they only need 20, they need not 24 hours because no one's in court that long. They only
Two to
need
five
two
days
days.
is
They only
what.
need 16 hours or so to present their case. So they are only needing 2 days to present their case, right? So I think that because Kanye, maybe he's super confident in how this is going to go in his support group talks, that maybe he just kind of said, you know what, y'all going to regret that y'all were not the ones to stand up and be there for this man. I think I think at the end of the day, that's kind of where that goes. You don't think
So if he's found guilty, do you agree that he talks?
so? That who should talk? That Diddy will talk?
Yeah,
I believe that if they find him guilty, he's going to work some more before talking. I believe that a guilty verdict in this particular court, with the court system, he has one more court he can go up to. So he has a higher court to take an appeal to. He still has appeals that he can even come back in the same court with the appeals, right? So I don't think he'll immediately talk. I think it will be as dramatic as drawn out as this trial has been when it comes to the bad boy. Like I don't think he's just going to throw names out there right away because he's going to weigh his options with what he can do in regard to appealing whatever the decision is, right?
got you.
Someone Bronsky says, I think so. Um, Carolina, Carolina makes a good point. It would be real late to talk. Like you should have been talking when they clink clink. He should have had a whole lot to say, but for some reason he didn't. Right? You switch cars when you don't want to be followed. There's an answer for you in the chat. Someone said that's when you don't want to be followed. Okay, speaking of, I'm going to throw in something and then we're going to talk about Brendan Paul. Y'all want to hear this, team? So I was watching a video and it's from a LEO officer, LE officers camp, and it was in Miami. And about how many weeks should I say, honey? How long ago was that? Let me know in the chat. Probably about maybe 12, 13 weeks ago, they pulled over young Miami. And so that they pull her over and she's in Miami and the officer's like, hey, what's going on? The tent is all over the vehicle. I can't see in on the side window, this window, that window. Why do you have the tent like this? Also, you have no identification going on the vehicle. And she goes, oh, I just got this vehicle. And I was like, oh, yeah, young Miami switching the vehicles up, right? So young Miami switches the vehicle up and she's in a new vehicle. Still nice, still riding like she got $1. Y'all wrong for talking about that girl on that BET carpet acting like she only had $5 to buy a dress. She still has a little change left over, right? right? So Young Miami, the officer's like, well, listen, you can't have that tent. And if well, in LA, they let me have this tent because I'm a celebrity, I'm an artist, and we have this rule, and they kind of let us ride around like that. And they said, well, this is not LA, this is Miami, and you cannot ride around like that. You need to take all the tent off of this vehicle. You also have so many days to get this registration. I don't know why these pullovers, Ashton Hall, Drewski, now Young Miami. No, it was Ice T, and then it was Ice T last year, and then it was Drewski, and then it was Ashton Hall, and now Young Miami. Well, I don't know why y'all don't have the registration and all that stuff in check, but that's what causes them to you over to the side, right? And they did do that. Young Miami says, well, I'm not trying to hide from anybody or anything. What do you guys think? Why does Young Miami, why is she riding around with so much tint that no one can see inside? Why do you think she needs that much tint? Do you think that they're following her? Thank you. I appreciate that, Zani. Make sure you guys put a sentence or two or an emoji or three when you put, so you don't dry chat. Okay. It will be, okay. I already took that comment. Brown skin says, I think so. I think Diddy is done flexing. Diddy, cause Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, this is the trial of the century. You are going to see when this is over that the man, even from the other side of the jail, has plenty more flex in him. He will be able to make a whole movie. He will be able to pick and choose who's going to be in his movie. He will make this a really big deal, even if he gets life. It'll be bad boy type of life. It's not going to be the normal prisons in this century. It's not going to be El Chapo going to the mountains of Colorado and never to be seen again. I'm sorry. It's going to be a little different than that. All right. So, although that would be really interesting, El Chapo has what, about 13 inmates up there with him, right? So would they put him up Diddy up there with El Chapo, or what would that look like? Okay, that's enough. Going too far into my legal head with that. Listen, let's talk about the trust fund, baby. So the trust fund baby has a day,
Hey, can I
okay?
give you a
He
quick?
actually, let me stop calling that boy trust fund baby before he uses his trust funds to come for Coach D. Okay, so listen, Brendan Paul, he immediately took immunity. People say, well, why did he take immunity? Of course, we understand why he did that so quickly, right? Because he knows that what they are accusing him of, that's some huge stuff he has his own problems. And he really doesn't have time to solve the problems of Sean P. Diddy Combs. Why does he not have time? Because he's going to have a lot of problems because he was clinked on that same day of the raid, right? So because he went down and he then was released right away, this his activity. Oh, Diddy, do you want to come in while he's, the immunity application's going on? Diddy's like, no, don't. He didn't say this, you guys. I'm paraphrasing in my mind. I just overthink, right? Diddy's like, no, don't bring me in the courtroom when that dude's in there. I'm not trying to talk to that dude. He clearly set me up, or whatever Diddy's thinking. So Diddy didn't come in. Judge does the guy's immunity, covers him, but he was supposed to testify, and they didn't get to him yesterday. And then we walk into the courtroom today with a severe vertigo case on a juror. Brendan doesn't have to testify again. It's the last leg of the prosecution. And here he is not doing his due diligence again. So we don't really expect Brendan to say anything other than yes. Was it this? Yes. No. Yep. This. Yep. No. He's not going to say very much, right? But he still has to get up. Oh, we really, honestly, we don't know what he's going to say. He may get up on the stand and say, "Free Diddy," and take off running. We have no idea what this kid is going to say, right? So, but he has the right to say whatever it is that he wants to say, okay? If you see someone put the name over and over mod and they don't put any additional information, make sure you get a grip on that, okay? Um, same says verdict in. What'd you say for the Reed case? Oh, save it because I've been waiting for that verdict. You will break it on my show. I want to hear it. Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. Y'all don't go look. Let's all don't go look. Can y'all just stay in here and not go look? All right. Should I break it? I'm gonna let you say it now because I know they're gonna go look. Go
No,
ahead. Tell me.
no, I'm staying here. They haven't went to the courtroom yet, so I'm staying here.
But the verdict is in.
Yeah, the verdict is
Stay
in. Like I'm looking
glued
at the
to that
TV
screen.
now.
Stay glued to that screen.
I'm,
Again, recap
okay,
real
I'm
quick,
staying
guys.
right here.
Karen Reed was on a retrial. She was previously accused of this relationship incident that ended in the unaliving of her man. And she actually got to go home the first time, but then they brought her back brilliantly. And now the jury is making a decision on whether or not she will be gone for life. Okay. So will Karen Reed
Uh,
be found guilty?
the clock stopped at 21 hours and 17 seconds. That's how long it
21
took to.
hours, less than a day to make a decision about Karen Reed. That's impressive. That's an impressive jury. Okay, stay glued to that screen. Get it to me as soon as you have it. If you even want to play it out loud, I would love to hear it. Okay, so you can interrupt me. Also, same when it comes to okay. So Brendan Paul, we've been talking about the former Diddy assistant. He came in around the time that Diddy was with Jane. Maybe seen some Cassie stuff, but maybe or not. We don't know. We don't know Brenda's life, right? He allegedly was the candy supplier guy for Sean P. Diddy Combs and his team. And he has immunity due to the candy activity in the case, okay? Because he has his own problems, so like KK. He has his own problems outside of this case because they were way too involved, doing way so much stuff according to the witnesses that they accused him of, right? This guy is a former Syracuse University basketball player. He had a whole future ahead of him. Somehow he decided, I'm going to just take candy and sell it for all the celebrities in the world. And that's what he decided to do with his trust fund money. And I'm pretty sure he upset his parents back then. I'm pretty sure that what's going on right now is just something that the grandfather, the dad, or somebody said, I already knew you were going to be like that. I already knew that you were going to do this. I already knew that this is where your life was headed. So they're probably not too shocked, you know. But the Syracuse University basketball player was arrested during a raid on one of Sean Combs' properties. However, he was released right after. Chad, who is Brendan? Is Brendan planted into the bad boy camp? Do you think that Brendan was planted into the bad boy camp? If so, by who? You guys say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not gonna say it. A lot of stuff points that direction, but I'm not gonna say it. Y'all say it. Okay. Is it um who put him there, right? Who put him there? Who put KK there? Who put Busby there, right? I'm going to say something, and this is just gossip. And if y'all go and tell him, I'm going to have so many problems with y'all. I'm gonna have so many problems with y'all if y'all go and tell him because then I don't know that y'all just being messy. Try to tell y'all stuff in here that no one else talks about, and then y'all go out there and go say it to the man. That's a problem. That's how I know y'all don't like me. But if you, I'm gonna say it anyway. But I know y'all don't like me. That's how I decide if people like me or not. Okay. But this is the thing. I look at Tony Busby. He's hanging out. According to this YouTuber that lives in Houston, and he's always hanging out around trying to see paparazzi style what Tony Busby has going on. And Tony Busby always has Snoop Dogg and family coming and hanging out with him. And then some years later, Tony Busby starts taking up these cases against Sean P. Diddy Combs, right? That's one thing. And then, Suge Knight just come out, and I know he's upset because he lost D-Row, in bankruptcy court. But he comes out and starts saying all these things like, Snoop Dogg had a radio and on a walkie-talkie the night of Tupac, and Snoop Dogg was like, "Hey, is he okay? I heard he got queued up." And Suge Knight says, "Well, I'm sitting here next to Pac. He good." So he kind of outed Snoop as having been a part of that. Now, I don't know why Suge told us that a couple of weeks ago, but he did. He said what he said, right? And then when we were watching the BET Awards, if y'all go tell this man what I said about him, I don't like y'all no more, even though I'm only scared of God. So then we're watching the BET Awards. Tyler Perry giving the speech of a lifetime. The whole thing, he had me at footsteps. Okay, so he had the whole footsteps thing. He said what he said about the culture being, trying people, somebody's trying to erase and change and undo, fix themselves. I don't know who Tyler Perry was talking to, but he had a lot to say. We do know what he was talking about, and he said what he said. And then the cameraman was so messy at the BET Awards that they turned the camera and panned to the face of Uncle Snoop, and Snoop was looking at Tyler like, "Oh, I'm coming, right?" And then a few days later, Tyler Perry's looking at $260 million. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying all that to say. I'm just saying. Y'all can say everything else that y'all want to say about who sent Brandon and KK. Y'all can say what y'all want to say because y'all gossip too much anyway. That's what's wrong with y'all anyway. Okay, all right, let's move on past that. But I'm just saying, if y'all tell him, if Snoop called me and say, "B, I heard that you said what you said," I'm gonna be like, I don't feel that type of way. I was just trying to paint a little picture of how this is just looking real sus. And do you have an explanation? And can I get an interview? I'm that person, right? Can I get an interview so we can talk about it? Speaking of great interviews, shout out to Brandy BET Network. That interview with Jamie Foxx at his home, what was that, about 4 days ago? That is a really good interview. I love everything about that interview. I love all the moments. Jamie have us laughing. You did a good job, girl. Shout out to Brandy. That was a good job. You're not, you don't your name is not as famous as podcasters should be, right? I should hear your name a lot more, but I thought that was an excellent interview. Shout out to you. All right, so again, the defense comes in and they say they expect their case to last around 2 days. At the worst case scenario, we go into 5 days. Why would we go into 5 days? Well, the defense is like, here's my case, 2 days to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to say. Probably going to use Brian Young, right? Steele, I'm sorry, from Young Thug, right? Probably going to use Brian Steele, right? Who knows? But they'll present. And only thing that could happen, the prosecution will probably do a rebuttal and another rebuttal and another rebuttal and another one and keep on bringing them, right? And if that's the case, that's why we could run into 2 to 5 days with when it comes to defense. But they're like confident that they can wrap it up in 2 days, and that's what we all want because we want to get to the answer, right? There is always on the table a mistrial. So, Chad, do you think that there should be a mistrial? Everything that you have seen, everything that you have seen. Go ahead and somebody answer in the chat so I can take a water break. Sam, what do you think? Should there be a mistrial? Sam, what do you think? Should there be a mistrial? Sam's over there catching the
Um,
Karen T. Should there be a mistrial? Thank you for
I'm
coming
just
up.
gonna say, I will say that it has not been the best by the prosecution.
You guys gave me three of my
They've been
gold.
a
Thank you so much. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the prosecution has been a little bit sloppy.
Mm, agree.
I
Prosecution
mean,
threw this
I mean,
together. Can we just say prosecution threw this together? They threw it
can we
together.
say one, two, three thrown together? One, two, three thrown together.
This you see, like thrown together, sloppy, messy. Does not look good. You should have took more time, but you had to bring down you some Sean P. Diddy Combs because y'all so worried about his arrogance and he's always
Hang on.
flexing and
Hang,
he's always bad boy. So you had to bring him down. Well, it's gonna look bad if you lose. Real bad on your careers. It's already gonna look bad
hang
because
on.
Upper
Hang on. Hang
Mania
on.
already
Hang
coming for
on.
your careers.
Host. Hang
Hmm.
on.
What did they say?
Oh, flip the camera. Hang on. Oh, no, wait.
I hope they keep the camera on her face during the read, also, right? 80% of the live vote is completed. You guys rock. Thank you for that. You guys did the
Can you
nuts.
hear?
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Can you hear?
I can hear. And what are we looking at? We're looking at the courtroom of the verdict is in for the Karen Reed.
Yeah, this is Karen Reed inside the courtroom. He's opening it up now.
Oh, turn it up. That turn it up. We're taking a pause on the Diddy, you guys, so we can get the verdict on Karen Reed. What's going to happen? This is why the Diddy trial's on pause today.
Mr. Foreman, on docket number 2282CR117001, murder in the second degree, what say you? Is the defendant the bar guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you? No, no. Do you agree? Yes. Do all of you agree? Yes. Thank you. 002, what say is the defendant the bar not guilty or guilty? Not guilty. Is not guilty or guilty about that charge or the lesser included charge? Thank you. Specifically, number 5, operating under the influence of liquor
Thank
by
you, Chad.
operating a motor vehicle with blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater.
Stay with
Correct?
us.
So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you all? Yes. 003, what say is the defendant at the bar leaving the scene after accident resulting in death? Defendant not guilty or guilty?
Chad, thank you for
So
staying
say
with
you,
us.
Mr. Foreman? So say you all? Jurors, hearkening the verdict as the court records it, you upon your oath say the defendant on 001 is not guilty, on 002 is guilty of operating under the influence of liquor, and 003 not. All right, jurors, everybody please be seated.
Say
Jurors,
that out
we
loud for
thank
us,
you for your
James. Tell us
service.
what they came up with. Charge 1, 2, 3.
Say what?
What did they come back with?
So, um, the only charge that she was guilty
Yes.
of operating a vehicle under the influence.
She on her way home. She on her way home. She go on her way
Yeah,
home with a DUI
yeah,
and a
that's why
snatched
you just heard
license.
the crowd start yelling outside.
She's on the way home with a DUI and a snatched license for a few months. Probably don't want to drive no time soon anyway. Karen Reed is on the way home. You guys, you guys, you
That's
guys.
why she hugging and being happy.
I couldn't see it. I'm sorry. I was looking somewhere else. Okay, guys, you
That's
guys.
why she hugging and being happy.
I couldn't see it. I'm sorry. I was looking somewhere else. Okay, so Karen is happy. She's going back
You
home.
got this big old screen thing sitting up here.
Okay, so well, we're covering the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial, but it looks like Karen Reed has been found. That's a W in the chat if you were for Karen Reed. And that's definitely not a good thing for the family of the individual whose life is no longer here. Wow. So she's going home and she told her story and that's her story and she's sticking to it. Hmm? Okay. Well, that's the kind of thing, that's a good example of the kind of thing that can happen with a jury. You have no idea what a jury will do. This jury could definitely say with Sean P. Diddy Combs, yes, guilty of all charges, or they could say no, not guilty on RICO, yes, guilty on transportation. We don't know what direction the jury will go in a couple of more weeks. We do know we are following the trial very carefully. Wow. What a day for Karen Reed. Okay. Also, I wanted to talk to you guys about right. So I did say, there is always a mistrial possibility. There's always a possibility of a pardon. All those things. So I did say, there is always a mistrial possibility. There's always a possibility of a pardon. All those things can happen when it comes to um, Sean P. Diddy Combs, right? The defense also says that they only need 2 days to present. I think you already told you that. What are your thoughts so far, you guys? It's Juneteenth tomorrow, so there's no court. The court will not be in tomorrow. Sean P. Diddy Combs looking like this would have been a day that he's, would have been preparing and expected a day of trial up until 3 p.m. Well, that did not happen. He has been arriving to the court reportedly or being prepared for arriving to the court around 7 a.m. every morning. The artist actually, and I didn't see any disrespect, but thank you for catching that mind. So the artist will definitely be did draw catching that mind. So the artist will definitely be did draw him with praying hands. So what do you think that he was in prayer about? It's tomorrow's Juneteenth, so Sean P. Diddy Combs could have just been in prayer about tomorrow. Just making sure that everyone has a blessed, Juneteenth, and everyone has remembers the reason for the holiday and keep in mind the whole purpose of why the holiday is celebrated. Thank you, Sam, for coming up. I don't see you up there anymore. Also follow the host if you will. Tap and follow the host. We're bringing the conversation to a close. Opportunity to jump up. Did anyone else want to jump up? Did you have any additional thoughts that you wanted to share? If so, I would love to give you an opportunity to do so. Anything that I missed in the comments? Um, um, let's see. I don't see anything. All all celebrities should have tint. Yeah, when we were talking about Young Miami getting pulled over. The officer disagreed with you. The officer said that I don't care who you are, or who your mama, or who your dad. No, the officer didn't say that. She was very respectful, but she did tell her, "I'm sorry, you can't have that kind of tint. You have to take that off." They did say that the back window that she had, Young Miami's back window, that was fine. It wasn't the tint wasn't that bad. They could see through, but they definitely said the tint on the other windows that she needed to bring that down. She always has the option of just driving one of her other vehicles, or maybe just being driven by someone. Probably should have her security detail, and that would give her less stress to have to deal with, because the security team would be making sure the registration. So now she has to pay the ticket and get the vehicle. She said she had just purchased the vehicle, so now she has to put some work in on that vehicle to get that tent off to be able to ride around Miami the way that she's supposed to, right? But that wasn't that long ago. So thank you guys. 2.8 thousand taps to the screen. You're amazing. 8 people or so. I'm not sure what that's about. 2 gifters. Thank you so much for that. 4.8 thousand people showed up. 165 of you tapped into the room. Thank you. I really appreciate that. The Clarissa Shields. Does anyone know what's the update on the Clarissa Shields? I've been all the way here on Diddy and don't even know the update on that. Karen Reed. Right. We just covered that on found guilty of one of her charges. Rakim found guilty of driving the vehicle under the influence of. That's her guilty, but everything else sends Karen Reed home. Seems like she'll deal with the fact that she'll probably not be able to drive, or maybe have a restriction on the license, have the DUI kind of thing attached to her name once they pull her information. We saw the other Karen from Real Housewives of Potomac did not get that same outcome. That's the comparisons. They're comparing the two Karens, right? So the other Karen from Housewives, the Grand Dame from Real Housewives of Potomac, she was found guilty and having to be sentenced to a year, right? So it did not go the same for her, but also no one, and that is just, I almost said it. No one was taken out. Karen hit a fence on Real Housewives of Potomac. No one was taken out. No animals, no persons were hurt. But yet they found her guilty in a year. And then this person right here, what did Johnny Cochran say? Who has the Johnny Cochran quote? Do we need to pull it up? Let's pull it up so we make sure we're doing a quote, and y'all don't try to say that the paralegal said it. Okay, I don't want y'all to say I said it. Let me find that Johnny Cochran. Somebody already knows it. If you know the quote, go ahead and put it in there. Pretty much what Johnny Cochran said. Pretty much the system, it favors certain ones. Okay, let's see. Quote on judicial system. Let's see if they can pull it up for me. AI, you guys should be super smart by now. Money determines what this is one. I don't think I've ever heard him this one, but this is a good one. Money determines whether the person goes to prison or walks out. Does it though, really? Does it though, really? Because Karen, the grand dame from Real Housewives of Potomac, has a lot of money. Okay, Sean P. Diddy Combs has a lot of money. Sometimes that doesn't. That's not it. That's not the quote I'm looking for. But anyway, he said another one about this unfair system. Maybe I'm not supposed to read it out loud to you. Maybe that's the covering of my career why I can't find this quote. Let me see if I can find the quote, y'all. Give me a minute. I'm trying to pull it up. I can't find it. I'm sorry. That's too much quiet time. So he said the justice system should be colorblind, but we still have a long way to go. And he said that a long time ago, and we still have a long way to go. Not shocked. That Karen Reed is going home. That's a spoiler alert. That's the spoiler alert. Okay, so If yeah, that's my favorite one. If it don't fit, you must quit. If all this, here's how I adjusted that one, Rakeem for Sharp Diddy Comb. If all this drama don't fit, you must quit. If all this silliness and the Punisher this and the Cassie that don't fit, you must quit. All of this thrown together trial by the prosecution, desperate to put another black man under the bus. If all of this doesn't fit, you must quit. That's the new quote. That's what Johnny would want us to say. That's what Johnny would want us to say. You guys, thank you so much for coming by. You spent an hour with me. I hope that you come back. Now, normally, remember, we are here around the same time, Monday through Friday. You see me here on the platform going live for as long as they allow me to do so, right? But however, tomorrow is Juneteenth, and I'm not going to work for my boss. I'm not going to work for you. I'm not going to work for anybody, and I never do. I'm born and raised Austin, Texas. Juneteenth is not some day that you can put. Yeah, I can't do labor on Juneteenth. Only thing I'll do on Juneteenth is have a baby. That's the only labor that I will do on Juneteenth. Okay, bring in some more legacy, and I've already been so amazing at that, right? But no, I'm not going to do labor on Juneteenth. I have been this way since I first started working when I was 17 years old. Technically, my first job was when I was 9 years old, but that's a labor talk. We won't have that discussion. But ever since I was 17 years old, working with the W 2, no, I don't work on Juneteenth. No one has been able to get me to do so, but I work in office spaces and no one's working on those days anyway, right? But no, I am not working on Juneteenth. And I hope you did your PTO request and properly requested your time off. This is something I'm going to do all the time every year, right? But if you didn't, I hope you know how to diligently or blow your nose or get severe vertigo. I don't know what you can do, but just make sure that you don't go to work tomorrow because you don't have to. If you know why, then you should, if you don't know why, spend the day finding out why you don't have to go to work. But it is a holiday and your boss shouldn't be open anyway, right? And there should be a lot of places closed tomorrow anyway because it is a federal holiday in the United States, even though we know Project 2025 intends to undo that and they do not plan to. I think they already undid it, and by next year it's no longer a federal holiday, and I'm still going to take it off. I can't even explain that to you guys. I've just been that way since I was first working. I've always been that way. Juneteenth, I shall not. I shall not. I shall do a lot of things, but work will not be one of them. Okay. So Juneteenth, no, we don't work on Juneteenth, but we will come back on Friday. If the court comes back on Friday or not, I will be here for you guys doing, if God says the same, I will be here for you guys. And, the weekend kind of depends on what happens and what kind of talks come up or what kind of news is breaking, whether or not I come on or not at no particular time. You just have to tap in. So you have to follow, turn on the notification, and do the same like they do on YouTube. YouTube just invited me to a new community event. Thank you. TikTok, you just invited me to a new community event. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, doing that. And I will try to get those things loaded up and all the kind of fun stuff. But just like on YouTube, turn on the notification bell because I'm unpredictable and you have no idea when I may come or I may not come. If you turn on the notification bell, you'll always know, right? All right. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And if you didn't see the Fawn Weaver post, should I play it for you guys? I should. I should because this happens to so many. So let's see if I can find it if she still has it up. I think it was a wonderful backstory, and that's a cheers to you guys. You guys can shout out to Uncle Nearest, right? So, creator of Uncle Nearest had a excellent explanation for youth. Well, since we're talking about the workspace anyway, she had an excellent explanation for why BLK women and men, why we tend to be individuals by a majority. She decided to do some real research to explain to you. I personally, if I'm running late, I'm always going to arrive in God's time. Whatever time that God says that I am to be there, I'm going to be there. If I'm running late, it's because God saw something ahead of me in traffic, right? He may have saw an accident or something that the commute would have caused something to happen to me. So if I'm running behind, God took care of me. So that's what my boss is here. They already know God takes care of me. I arrive when I arrive. She's a whole princess, right? So she arrives when she arrives, but she does so much work. Most of my work is done before 1 p.m. while everyone's been chit chatting because I don't make friends at work. I don't like friends. I don't do friends. No, I'm joking. But I try to do my work when I'm at work. So that's why I always have my work done. So a person that can run late and still get her work done before everyone else, she a baddie. She a baddie at work, okay? So, but Fawn Weaver definitely has something good to say. And I thought that I should play that and then send you over Fawn, Fawn dot Weaver, Weaver, on Instagram. If you don't know, that's the creator of Uncle Nearest. Goes a whole lot deeper. All right, so let's go back. It seems like black folks are always running late. It's a stereotype, one we joke about, one we've lived with. But if you've ever wondered where it comes from, buckle up, because the truth goes a whole lot deeper than you think. This is Nightcap with Fawn Weaver, where I take hot topics, strip away the drama, the politics, and add truth, history, and a little bit of hope served straight up, no chaser. With her Uncle Darius. Color people's time. I've got a running joke. I'm always 5 minutes off. Could have started earlier, could have left earlier, but didn't. Why? Would you believe that most of us inherited this? That's not an excuse. Let me prove it to you. There was a time when black people didn't control their time. During slavery, we moved when we were told. We worked sun up to sundown, no say in the matter. Time was something done to us, not something we owned. And after slavery ended, the systems didn't just suddenly shift. We didn't have access, not to opportunity, not to resources, not even to reliable transportation. Most black families didn't have cars, and the bus didn't come every 10 minutes, maybe once an hour. Miss it, whether it was late or you were late, you were just late. But it wasn't just the bus. In many places, walking while black came with a risk. You might have to change your route to avoid harassment. Certain streets, certain people. Sometimes it wasn't safe to take the direct path. So we adapted. And over time, that adaptation became our rhythm. We didn't move by the clock. We moved by instinct, by experience, by wisdom passed down. We showed up not on time, but when it was time. It wasn't about poor planning. It was about limited options. We weren't late because we didn't care. We were late because the system wasn't built to get us there on time. Period. That shaped how we moved, how we scheduled, how we gathered, how we showed up for one another. We stopped measuring time by someone else's standards. Period. And started moving on our own. And we're not the only ones. There's JP time, shaped by generations of Jewish families navigating exclusion, where rigid systems didn't always make space. There's mañana culture from Latin American communities, where juggling jobs, long commutes, and under-resourced neighborhoods made strict punctuality a luxury. Excellent point. And if you've ever met a Nigerian auntie, then you know we're on our way is more energy than ETA. Across so many cultures, time became relational because survival demanded flexibility. We moved when it was safe, when it was possible. And today, we live in both worlds. Boardrooms, classrooms, stages, places where 5 minutes late doesn't say survival, it says unprofessional. And that's the tension. So I say, let's keep honoring our rhythm, but let's stop using it as a crutch. If we're late, let it be intentional, not inherited. Because growth. And I'm going to intentionally arrive when God says the same. Okay? I'm just taking Fawn Weaver's advice. Let me know what you guys think about that. All right, Pecco, welcome back to the chat. So Pecco says another bill. Who are you talking about? Somebody on the screen. Which one? Or who are you talking about? You talking about Tyler Perry? You talking about R. Kelly? You talking about Diddy? Tap in. Oh, you talk about Perry, Tyler Perry. Right, right, right. So you guys, if you missed it in the beginning, Tyler Perry, you guys want the response from Tyler Perry? Do you want the response? I can play that again. Let me show you the response from Tyler Perry. Again, as I said in the beginning, we don't come for TP where I come from, okay? Because I know you're going to try, but we don't come for TP where I come from. We've been with TP since TP had plays. We've been with TP since TP had just 25 people in the audience, okay? So we have seen this man. We have seen what he's done. We've seen how he's given back. We have seen him build a studio, not because he has an ego. He built the studio so that he could create these same opportunities for our people that were not created in the likes of Universal Studios. He built a phenomenal studio. If you want a tour of the Tyler Perry studio, you can take that tour tour online. It is the only tour that is available. He doesn't do the tours like he was doing before, right? So you can't even do those tours. But there is a tour that shows you all the stages. He dedicated the stages to the greats, from Halle Berry to Cicely Tyson to Oprah. So he has a phenomenal project thing going on, and he's given back so much. He also, you guys don't like Oprah. We like Oprah. We heard the Oprah interview. He told everybody in the Oprah interview about his sexual, sexual lifestyle. He has never kept that a secret. He has never kept it a secret about who he is and who he is not into, right? So just because some little person that got replaced, I noticed that this person is just like Cassie. Cassie saw Young Miami living her best life and decided to come for a lawsuit, right? When she realized that she was didn't get the same treatment, maybe. I don't know. She was less bothered about her husband than she was about, she stayed very focused on the life of Sean P. Diddy Combs, right? And this particular person, same thing. Sees the paparazzi shows Tyler Perry a few days before this broke out. Shows him on, allegedly, him, if it was an AI, on a very nice yacht with on a very nice vacation with his guy, his new boo, and this old boo decided that he's not happy, and that should have been my life, and that should have been the things that I was able to do, and Tyler chose someone else. So because he chose someone else, you decided to out his text, which we read, and we don't see a problem in any of the text, nothing problematic going on, but you decide to sue the man for $260 million. The attorney says it's a scam. It's a money grab. I stand with the attorney. It's a money grab. So Tyler Perry did respond. For those that did not catch the response, I will go ahead and play that for you. I'm just sitting on my porch, just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. Period. So we have a rest. I just want to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can. So I'm just calm. I'm as calm as I can be regarding what happened with Tyler Perry, because that's just a person trying to come for everything that he has. He's made a statement after doing the tour, doing the interview and talk show rounds, talking about Taraji P. Henson praising him for being the first to pay her as much as she's been paid, even though she is excellent in films. But he was the first to give her that kind of money. He's created a lot of millionaires from his films. Heck, an extra on the show. I even was like, oh, I think I would love to do an extra. So I looked into an extra opportunity, and it was $80 an hour. Extras are getting $80 an hour for simple 2 second scenes. Like, I'm telling you, the man is creating opportunity and wealth, and that is not something that they want to see. And whenever they see that happening, they want to take that down. And that sometimes they use us. They use people. They use our people to try to come in and attack, and even use, planting people in people's lives. They'll use, you just need to watch. You can't trust everybody that comes around you, because you don't know who sent the person and what they've been sent for. Okay, that's the lesson that's learned for sure when it comes to Tyler Perry and R. Kelly and Sean P. Diddy Combs, for sure. Right. So Karen Reed should have I see that. It's just, I just don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I didn't expect Karen Reed to ever do a day's time. I come from, born and raised here. My ancestors have put in a lot of work here in this land. So I'm not shocked. I'm just not shocked. Um, yeah, bringing Sinbad in Straw was amazing, and finding a way to fit what's going on with him after having so many problems with the illness, and fitting him into Straw. That moment, I was like, as soon as the film, the camera panned over to him, and I was like, wait, and then went back to him again, and I said, honey, is that? And I didn't catch it in the first time the camera went, and I didn't realize it was him, and I'm like, oh my God, honey, is that Sinbad? How excellent of a man is Tyler Perry for doing that? Not many people would do that. They would cancel his career and say there's no space. But Tyler Perry is constantly willing to show gratefulness for the people that paved the way before him. He understands how he arrived to where he is, right? So he said for us to be unbothered, to not overreact, to continue to remain calm, and that's what you've seen us do. You saw us do it, last week. We just couldn't show up for those protests. We were just unbothered and doing us and taking care of us and taking care of our health and drinking our water and drinking our black tea, Earl Grey black tea, right? Making sure that we're drinking our peppermint tea. We're just taking care of us in our environments. I hope you guys have a wonderful and really blessed. I saw something that said the truth, like the truth jumped in the room, like the truth jumped. You know how much honor I would feel if that happened. But thanks for coming by. If so, um, it's up to the individuals. But I did hear something recent about that, and I was like, you know what I thought, Pecco, when I read that, I was like, you dang on children. Y'all just run out and with your scientific research. No, I'm joking. I did read that also, Pecco, and I do think that that is an important knowledge to have. And I think that we should go back to the times of. I love boring documentaries, so let me tell you this. I can't remember where I saw it. Probably I watch documentaries on all the platforms, right? I'm probably one of the only persons who just, if they ever come up with a package that has all the streaming, or if y'all know of a package that has all the streaming, let me know because I don't know if I watched it on Netflix or Hulu. I have Peacock, I have Philo, I have BET Plus, I have Apple, I have Prime. I keep all of them, right? So I don't know where I watched it, but I watched a documentary about the history of tea, and it is just so amazing. And they don't let us talk about it on the platform live anymore. So that's the most that I can tell you guys is to go read the chat. I can tell you to do that. I'm not allowed to say it on the live, but read the chat because that's good information that's being put in the chat. Also, there's a documentary about tea, and it just so much good stuff on it. And I think that you should definitely tap into that and to really learn those things. But it's an amazing thing that you could do for yourself, right? Always do something for self. Happy Juneteenth. Who's doing something amazing for Juneteenth? What are you guys doing? What are you planning? Most of us, like I said, if we know, we know to take the time off, right? Self care time, right? So what are you guys doing? You always do something big for the other holidays like Memorial and Labor Day and Fourth of July. So what are you doing for this holiday coming up, Juneteenth? It's a very important holiday for the culture. Growing up Texas, you can only imagine how important it is for us. But I would love to know what you guys are doing as we get ready to close out. What are you doing for Juneteenth? And I think I met the goal. So I got a little, yeah, you met your goal message that popped up. So, okay, thank you, TikTok. I love TikTok and all those other great things that I appreciate that. Good to know. I'm aiming to get those goals done. Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday, I am here around the same time, giving you about an hour or so of talk, hoping that I cover the things that you guys want me to cover. I did a little bit of relationship talk last night. If you missed that talk, you can go on my timeline right now. Click on the video, the full video of that talk about relationships and what happened to that influencer on that live stream, and the relationship tips that I gave you guys in that particular talk. I would love for you. Does anybody want me to cover any part of that? I think I don't have the notes on me to do that. Because I like to go directly from my notes. What I'll do, click on the video. There's a little clip of what I had to say on there. Also, the full video, YouTube link in bio. The full videos load probably before the end of the weekend. You'll be able to get the full recaps of the talks. Okay, so I think that's after the edits and all those great things are done. Okay, so thank you so much for coming in, tapping in, and know that I appreciate you. And I'm not sure. I feel like I left something, and I'm not going to talk to you guys again until probably the next live, right? So if I left something out or if I did not clear something up that you see on the screen, let me know. Give you a few minutes. Let me know. Have a question about anything? Did I not cover anything? Is there something else that you want to ask me? You may want to ask me. Anybody have a relationship question? Life coach. That's what I do. I'm a relationship coach. I write books. People say, why don't you tell people about the books? I don't know. I get caught up in the podcasting world. I forget. Link in bio. Amazon. Get it at Barnes and Noble or Amazon. However you like to read your books. Yeah, I do relationship talk. I've been doing this since 2010. I've been writing books since 2010. I also have a lot of experience in a lot of different ways, from education to real life. So definitely have Well, thank you. Then click that link in the bio. I hope you do find something interesting in one of my collection. And then the next time you're live, Pecco, please do come back and tell me what you think. I'm an indie author, so it's nothing special about the way that I present. I just tell you, if people say when I read your books, I can hear you talking. Okay, well, I take that as a compliment. Thank you. They say they can hear my voice when I'm because I just talk to you just the way that I am, straight no chasing. That's the way that you get it in the books, okay? All right, thanks everybody for coming by. I highly appreciate you. And if you're going on a road trip, if you are traveling for the Juneteenth and you took the whole 4 day and you need something to listen to and you're not going to have the children, I think I should say that. And you're not going, you can put your Bluetooth on if you have your Bluetooth on in your passenger. I can say that. But I have podcasts up, What Dee Says, the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also go to wherever you listen to podcasts and go back some years. You might want to go back to 2009, 2010. Relationship talk. I'm consistent. I do pretty much the same thing all the time. So you can type in hashtag I am Dee Shields. You can just type that into wherever you listen to podcasts. Hashtag I am DEESHIELDS, or you can just type in What Dee Says, the podcast, and you can just take a listen to hours and hours of relationship talk if you need it like that. I don't know. You may not want that kind of stuff, but I cover it all from dating to relationships to things that, how to avoid the DTR. I talk about that all the time. Women, the DTR talk. I don't like women defining the relationship. That is something that the men can and should and will be able to do. So the DTR talk, I talk about that. Reasons she's excessive over a man. That's one of my books. Reasons he dates plus size. That's one of my books. So your heart's been broken. Please get over it. That's one of my books. Great Smex is not love and never will be. That's one of my books. So whatever you can get. Oh, remember this, not just anyone will do. That's another one of my books. So, books to podcasts, however you support me, know that I appreciate it, including you. Staying tapped in. I saw 111 again, you guys. I saw 111 again. That's a good sign. Okay, so that's it. I'm tapping out of here. I'm already over talked and going longer than I was supposed to go. One more opportunity to tap that microphone if you want to join and have something to add. Same, thank you. I appreciate the rose gifts. I thank you for sharing the verdict for Karen Reed with us live here on the live. Heather, thank you for coming by again. Pecco, thank you for coming by again. So many different ones. Brent, thank you for the excellent mod and the gifts and the conversation. Thank you guys for all those comments. Thank you. Kenny says, I have great book titles. Kenny caught the book titles. Thank you for that. I think that it kind of leads into a lot of what I talk about on the podcast. And people tell me that they like my podcast titles also. I do my best to make sure that I tap into what's coming from the heart and what's coming from what I know. That's so very important to really give you guys what I know and as well as use my education and training to make sure that I put that into full impact for the readers as well. So, yes, those are the very first book was my life story. Great Specs is not love and never will be. Um, that's the first book that I just decided to tell my story because people need to know, why are you talking about relationships? Who do you think you are? That's something that you get when you've been a podcast host for as long as I've been, since 2010. You hear a lot, right? And then there was Remember This, Not Just Anyone Will Do. I also did So Your Heart's Been Broken, Please Get Over It. And then I went into Reasons She's Excessive Over a Man, about that ex that will not let it go, decides to destroy your life, her life, mama's life, grandma life, everyone, kind of that kind of ex. And then I tell you in the last chapter the reason or something that you may be doing that causes the ex to do that. And I talk to the men and the women in that book. Also, reasons he dates plus size. We have a conversation and it has a plot twist. So you definitely want to tap into that. I am working right now on my baby. Reasons You Circle Back, and that is my baby, and I had to tap into something from the Diddy trial that I wanted to add into the book, so it has a little bit of a delay. So, but Reasons You Circle Back is the next book that's coming out, and I hope you guys enjoy that one also. The link to books are in the bio, Kenny. You can tap in there. Link to books in the bio. You can get those books by title on Amazon. Also, does anyone need me to go over those titles again? I will. Coach Dee Shields. That's but you should have at least Reasons She's Excessive Over a Man might be the book that's in the bio right now. It link in the bio right now. If not, Reasons He Dates Plus Size may be in the bio right now on Amazon, and by title D Shields, Coach D Shields, Miss Shields, hashtag I am D Shields. If you just Google me, hashtag I am D Shields on Google will pull up books and podcasts and a host of things. You can hashtag I am D Shields on Amazon to pull up books also. Barnes and Noble probably can do the same thing with the titles, and hashtag I am D Shields is really the best way, because then you can see, in Google, you can decide what platform, everyone has their platform that they like to get their books from. Sometimes you have, like, my daughter has all these credits at Barnes and Noble, right? So you may prefer to get them from Barnes and Noble, or you may be a person that wants to get them on Amazon. You may be a Goodreads person. One of the assistants added some things to Goodreads. So Google free book links. I make sure that it's available for everyone, whether you have money or don't have money, right? So Google Reads and places like that. Okay. So thank you guys so much. I am tapping out, and I appreciate you, and enjoy your Juneteenth. Remember the reason for the holiday, if you will, and make sure that you all have a really good one. Okay, and a safe one. Stay safe and do the right thing. Expect the unexpected, but always, always react with emotional intelligence. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.